If you already know my title, why aren't you afraid? Dante was a little curious. Normal people would be trembling in fear whenever they saw him. And yet, this guy before him was calm and collected. It was as if he didn't care about him. Was he a fool? Or did he have a strong backing? Why should I be afraid? Dustin replied calmly, Oakvale is not a lawless place. Your nephew wanted to fight, and he lost. Everyone here witnessed it. Besides, the Fallon family is an ancient house in Oakvale. Are you trying to turn the heat on me based on your status? Ha, smarty pants. Dante narrowed his eyes. Then, he said, but you're right. Dexter lost because he was useless. The Fallon family will not intimidate the weak just because we're strong. Nevertheless, I can't let you go because you hit one of us. What do you have in mind, Sir Dante? Dustin asked. One will rise where one fell, Dante said calmly. Do you dare to fight the Fallons again in 3 days? He asked. A no-holds-barred match. The younger generation had embarrassed the Fallon family. Hence, it'd be their duty to repair the reputation. The Fallon family had always been very serious when it came to winning fights. I'd be much obliged if Sir Dante so wishes. However, I'd like to place a bet, Dustin said. Is that so? What would you like to bet? Tell me more. Dante held his chin. It's a very simple bet. If I win, the Fallon family will owe me a favor. Win? Ha. Dante laughed. Hey, kid, do you know what you're talking about? Who do you think the Fallons are? Sacks of potatoes? When compared to the rest of the family, Dexter's combat skills were average. He'd at most rank 10th among them. The real combat talents the Fallon family meticulously groomed and nurtured had never revealed themselves in public. How could a stray kid like Dustin Reese defeat the gifted fighters of the Fallon family? Sir Dante, my only question is, are you willing to bet or not? Dustin asked with a cool expression. You want to bet? Fine. Be my guest. Dante agreed to the bet right away and turned the tables against Dustin. But, what if you lose? If I lose, I surrender my fate to you, Dustin replied. Great. You've got guts. See you in 3 days. Dante smirked. With so many adept fighters within the Fallon family, it'd be an embarrassment if they couldn't defeat this stray. They'd be better off dead. It's a deal, Dustin replied with a faint smile. Retreat. Dante waved and left with his troops without saying another word. Wait, Harper was suddenly nervous when she saw what was happening. She ran forward in a hurry and said, Sir Dante, don't believe him. He's lying to all of you. If you let him go today, he'll be gone tomorrow. Are you teaching me how to handle my business? Dante looked upset. You're an important person, and you have no idea how deceiving others are. I know Dustin Reese very well. He's very sly and shameless. You must not believe him. Harper tried her best to get her advice across. There's no one that the Fallon family cannot find. It doesn't matter where they are, Dante said coldly. But Harper wanted to say something else, but Dante gave her a sound slap on the cheek before she could. He shouted, Are you done? How dare you speak in front of me? Are you tired of living? Get away from me. It was a very powerful slap. Harper was struck so hard that she could see stars, and she fell on the floor right away. Her face became red and swollen at the speed that the naked eyes could see. Her lips were smacked to the side, and blood trickled out from the corner of her mouth. Sir Dante, please don't be angry, Sir Dante. When Cody saw that things had taken a bad turn, he immediately ran forward with an apologetic smile. He said, I am from the Ostroa family, and she's my mentee. Could you please do me a favor and spare her? A favor? Dante turned to glare at him and slapped him as well. Who do you think you are? Asking for a favor from me? Do you deserve it? No, it's all right. No, Cody covered his face nervously. Too late. Dante waved his hand and ordered, Take these 2 meddling fools away and give them 80 strokes with the whip. I want them crippled. Cody's face paled, and his knees went weak as he collapsed on the floor right away when he heard that. Cody and Harper were taken away, howling. It didn't matter how much they explained or how much they begged for mercy. Dante was already upset, and these two idiots provided him a channel to vent his anger. Cody and Harper only had themselves to blame. They met him at a bad time. There was nothing to fight about. But they just had to stand up and pick a fight. Without a doubt, they brought it upon themselves. 80 strokes from the military whip were anything but fun. Even a sturdy army personnel would be out sick for at least 2 weeks after the punishment. Needless to say, for a normal person who had never undergone training, it wasn't rare for them to be crippled or dead after the punishment. Dear, those two seem to hate you a lot. Have you ever upset them? Natasha asked curiously when she saw Cody and Harper being taken away forcefully. They're just two crazy dogs. Let them be. Dustin shook his head. Harper and Cody were typical bullies who looked down on the powerless and flattered the powerful. They'd lower themselves and do everything to please those in power. On the other hand, they'd be haughty and look down on whoever they please. To them, Dustin was just a poor country bum, and his place was below them. He should never have the opportunity to prove himself. If he was a little better off, they would feel distressed. They would do all kinds of tricks to put him down and throw sarcastic remarks at him. In other words, they just didn't want to see him get better in life. They were the kind of shameless people with bad and conflicting intentions. They totally deserved this kind of outcome. After all, they brought it upon themselves. Dear, the Fallon family is a military family. The children of this family would practice martial arts from a young age. There are very talented fighters in the family. It's a little risky if you want to fight with them. Natasha was a little worried. She knew that Dustin was great, but Oakvale was not Millsburg. Talented fighters were a dime a dozen. It'd turn out bad for him if he wasn't careful. Don't worry. If I dare to accept their challenge, I have the confidence to win. The Fallon family has nothing on me. Dustin gave her a confident smile. I'm not afraid if it's a fair and civil fight. I'm just afraid that the Fallon family will use dirty tricks. Natasha raised her brows slightly. Then, she suggested, we'll do it like this then. I'll ask my grandfather to attend the battle. With him there, I don't think the Fallon family will pull anything. What? That's not necessary. Besides, it's just a small matter. Do we need to call in the Duke of Lancashire? Dustin rejected politely. It's a matter of your life and death. How can it be small? Natasha's pretty face became stern. She said seriously, listen to me, it's been decided. If my grandfather disagrees, I'll abduct him and make him go. Dustin was at a loss for words. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Knowing Natasha, she was definitely capable of doing so. It was just that this method was a little too rough. Oh, that's right. I found out something. But I'm not sure if I should tell you. Natasha suddenly changed the subject. What is it? Just tell me. Dustin smiled. I saw Dahlia in Oakvale 2 days ago. Natasha suddenly said. Dahlia? Dustin's smile faded. What is she doing in Oakvale? I'm not sure. Natasha shook her head. But I think she's doing just fine. She added, she was surrounded by the rich and famous, and everyone was busy fawning over her. Her status and identity have been elevated. Maybe she met someone. It has nothing to do with me anyway. Dustin shrugged. Why? Don't you want to see her? Natasha asked, smiling faintly. Why would I want to see her? It's just going to add unnecessary stress to myself. Now, she can walk down her brightly lit avenue, and I'll cross my wooden bridge. I think it's best if we remain strangers, Dustin replied calmly. That's true. She's lost her memory anyway. I don't think she will bother you anymore. Natasha smiled and took Dustin by the elbow. Let's go. I'll show you around, and we'll drop by Dash Corporation. In South City, the Swanson family room was bright and spacious. Ezra sat across Eleanor at the table, talking and eating dessert. Ezra, why is Sir Crane still not here? Do you think he stood us up? Eleanor looked at the time, appearing upset. She'd been waiting for an hour, but no one showed up. Eleanor, be patient. Sir Crane is a very busy man. Let's wait for a little longer. He should be here soon. Ezra flashed her a charming smile.